tribute to her remarkable character. My children, Daniel and Nicholas, lead busy adolescent lives. Nevertheless, they have found time to discuss with me the many themes interwoven into these pages. Indeed, it was thanks to our conversations across the dinner table that I first came fully to appreciate just how much today's youth care about the world that we have bequeathed them, and how inadequately we have furnished them with the means to improve it. This book is dedicated to them. New York, February 2010. Introduction. A Guide for the Perplexed. I cannot help fearing that men may reach a point where they look on every new theory as a danger, every innovation as a toilsome trouble, every social advance as a first step toward revolution, and that they may absolutely refuse to move at all. Alexis de Tocqueville. Something is profoundly wrong with the way we live today. For 30 years we have made a virtue out of the pursuit of material self-interest. Indeed, this very pursuit now constitutes whatever remains of our sense of collective purpose. We know what things cost, but have no idea what they are worth. We no longer ask of a judicial ruling or a legislative act, is it good? Is it fair? Is it just? Is it right? Will it help bring about a better society or a better world? Those used to be the political questions, even if they invited no easy answers. We must learn once again to pose them. The materialistic and selfish quality of contemporary life is not inherent in the human condition. Much of what appears natural today dates from the 1980s, the obsession with wealth creation, the cult of privatization in the private sector, the growing disparities of rich and poor, and above all, the rhetoric which accompanies these: uncritical admiration for unfettered markets, disdain for the public sector, the delusion of endless growth. We cannot go on living like this. The little crash of 2008 was a reminder that unregulated capitalism is its own worst enemy. Sooner or later, it must fall prey to its own excesses and turn again to the state for rescue. But if we do no more than pick up the pieces and carry on as before, we can look forward to greater upheavals in years to come. And yet we seem unable to conceive of alternatives. This, too, is something new. Until quite recently, public life in liberal societies was conducted in the shadow of a debate between defenders of capitalism and its critics, usually identified with one or another form of socialism. By the 1970s, this debate had lost much of its meaning for both sides. All the same, the left-right distinction served a useful purpose. It provided a peg on which to hang critical commentary about contemporary affairs. On the left, Marxism was attractive to generations of young people, if only because it offered a way to take one's distance from the status quo. Much the same was true of classical conservatism. A well-grounded distaste for over-hasty change gave a home to those reluctant to abandon long-established routines. Today, neither left nor right can find their footing. For 30 years, students have been complaining to me that it was easy for you. Your generation had ideals and ideas. You believed in something. You were able to change things. We, the children of the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, have nothing. In many respects, my students are right. It was easy for us, just as it was easy, at least in this sense, for the generations who came before us. The last time a cohort of young people expressed comparable frustration at the emptiness of their lives and the dispiriting purposelessness of their world was in the 1920s. It is not by chance that historians speak of a lost generation. If young people today are at a loss, it is not for want of targets. Any conversation with students or schoolchildren will produce a startling checklist of anxieties. Indeed, the rising generation is acutely worried about the world it is to inherit. But accompanying these fears, there is a general sentiment of frustration. We know something is wrong, and there are many things we don't like. But what can we believe in? What should we do? This is an ironic reversal of the attitude